Vols are back.
Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get it all right now. Everybody worry about the crown being. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Don't roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a whole up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gap. Strut like up and I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. Tell them on flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Say it on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
Well then, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, I think we all know what time it is. It's time for another grand episode of the Volstar Podcast. Got a plenty and abundance of updates today. More recruiting news, more news about the MLB draft, football news regarding our recruits. Our class is looking stronger than ever, and it's only at 15, so that really isn't saying all that much, but it's still a strong class, all things considered. We got a lot of news to go over today, so welcome to episode feels like 98 of the Volstar Podcast. We got some great news tonight for you guys, including things about what's going to come after the ending of the Volstar Podcast. A little hint on that is in the hands of our special guest here tonight. Look who it is! That's another content creator. Crazy. Another guy. Love this guy, Mr. Red. And I got to meet him last week. How you doing, good sir?
Oh man, it is a pleasure to be on a show that's not my own for once. I'm really glad to be here with you, Squid. Been a long time coming and looking forward to this, honestly, for a long time. I love collabing with you. Yeah, we got to meet up in Tennessee a couple of weeks ago. I got to go down to Gatlinburg, and you were kind enough to make the drive out to the log cabin I was staying at, where some important business was hammered out.
Very important business.
Mostly also got to shoot the shit with you. And, I got to say, it was a pleasure. It's a pleasure being back here. And I'm looking forward to the show and talking about some college football. Season doesn't kick off too far from now. It really is getting closer and closer every single day. I get on social media, 7 more Saturdays till we kick off in Ireland. It's like, it's Ireland though.
Yeah, and it's 2 Big 12 teams, so
it's going to be a barn burner. Like the
true.
Irish aren't starving for football.
That is very true. I mean, there's a possibility one of those teams could be end up as your new clown of the season, kind of like the guys behind this picture. I'm showing our picture on the screen where we met, and there's a certain dumpster fire burning in the background. I told everybody to pay no attention to it, but it's kind of hard to avoid.
Yeah, that was so spur of the moment. We were just playing that in the background in my Airbnb on a random Sling channel for ACC, and they happened to have a Florida State 30-minute game marathon on. So literally the whole time we were talking, just Florida State mediocrity happening behind us. And, it is so ironic. It's just so perfect that it happened that way.
Who would want to subject themselves to, rewatching Florida State season, even if you are a fan? Like, what would you want to torture yourself?
Them's the facts right there.
Yeah, I tortured myself all season last year watching their shit football, or what they called football. Like, good Lord.
Oh, yeah, that's how it goes.
As the joke burns. It is hype. For some reason, it's still on fire.
We'll never stop burning. By the way,
fire department walked off the job.
By the way, Mr. Julio Rodriguez, I forgot to introduce my co-host here tonight on the show. I'm sure you all know him all too well. He's been here for a very, very long time. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing great, as usual. So it's
Great to hear. Lucas was too lazy to show up. Big shocker. Big whoop right there. Yeah, no surprise. Just kidding. He was on a cruise this past week. He's arriving back currently as we speak, so that's why he's not able to show up. So we'll be seeing him on episode 99. So hopefully that vacation went well, Lucas, if you're listening. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So a couple of big announcements. First of all, I wanted to go ahead and say this while I can. Thank you guys so much. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy how we've already made it here, but we have hit 15,000 subscribers over here on Squidtard Sports. You guys, I appreciate all of you guys for all the support that you've given to this channel. It's a huge accomplishment, and we can only grow higher and higher from here. The Tardarian Empire will always keep expanding, so you best shout out the content where you can. And yeah, that's all there is to it. We have a super chat here, $20 super chat from Dumb Gamers 22. Appreciate the super chat. You son of a
bitch. Dumb Gamers does this shit all the fucking time. He literally called Sugar Daddy on my YouTube channel because this son of a bitch has sent me $100 donos multiple times since I've started being a YouTuber on this platform. I don't know where the hell he keeps getting this money from. But thank you, man. Squid definitely deserves the dono. Good to see you here.
Yeah, I'll definitely take it. I won't argue with that. Yeah. I greatly appreciate it, though, buddy. I like both of y'all's content. Good luck, y'all. Well, thank you very much, good sir. Thank you. All right, well, since we have passed the $50 threshold, before we continue onwards, I am legally obligated by contract to do what I must do, so... I'm sorry to the people on the panel who have to witness this, but this is just the way it goes. Hold on a second, everybody.
Oh, God.
I said right foot.
I want to fucking hurl.
Woo! Woo! That is some super duper cardio right there.
I'm going to sue to get control of his channel after that.
That is what we
I deserve compensation for witnessing that bullshit, Squid.
So does everybody else, but not everybody's fortunate. Welcome to reality. As a college football fan, we know that all too well. Ain't that right, Julio? You've witnessed that too many times.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think Kirk Cousins might have a better gritty than you.
Honestly, yeah, Kirk fucking Cousins would have a better dance moves than Squidtard.
Yeah, but it's Kirk Cousins. If I'm being compared to Kirk Cousins, I won't complain about that because that man can gritty so hard that it's like a 5-mile radius around him. Everything just explodes. Like there's like a wave that forms from the ground.
Yeah, explodes like the Hiroshima way, not in like the good kind of way. It's like a natural disaster kind of thing.
All right, well, we're on a roll so far, aren't we?
Hey, I told you your ass wasn't prepared for me. I don't have to have a filter. I can say whatever the hell I want.
Fair enough.
You let me.
Nope, that's true. I can't argue with
It's
that.
your fault.
Yeah, I absolutely cannot argue with that. All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and get through the Tennessee news as quick as possible because there is one more thing I'd like to say before we get into all the Tennessee news. And then we'll jump to talking about Ohio State's schedule because we've had a lot of guests here on the Volstar podcast, and pretty much a whopping majority of the ones that we've had on here have had, well, bottom line expectations for their team. So, they'll come in and they'll say, their team is going to go lower than the expectations say. I'm interested to see if Red will continue that tradition or if he'll actually ride with Ohio State going 12-0 and they're going to beat Michigan by 1 billion points. I am interested to see how that pans out. And I know you have plenty.
Fuck Michigan.
Plenty of things to say about Michigan. Well, I want to go ahead and say this to you guys. A lot of you have been asking what's going to happen once the Volstar podcast comes to a close. We're 2 weeks away from the final episode of the podcast. And then from that point onward, there's no telling what we're going to be doing Monday, or at least that's been what it's been up till today. Today, I have some phenomenal news to announce to you guys, and I felt like I felt like there was no better time to do it than now with him being on the show. If that doesn't give it away, I don't know what else will. He is going to be my new co-host for my new upcoming college football show every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So every Monday night during the season and during the off season or wherever else, you'll get to see us two psychotic bastards get on here every single Monday night and give thoughts on the season and our teams pending they choke the bed.
Y'all are fucked. Y'all are completely fucked. You're not ready for this shit. You're absolutely not. I am so fucking excited for this, Squid. This is the collab that I think everybody has been asking for. Kind of like I keep on hearing like dumpster fire comparisons. The two of us working together. So like this is going to kind of be like that. The two of us just shooting the shit on college football every Monday night till hell freezes over or we hit 100 episodes, whatever comes first. Probably hell freezing over at this rate.
Probably.
So.
or Tennessee wins a national championship, and that would be really when hell freezes.
That would
over.
be hell freezing over, honestly.
Quite
Tennessee
literally.
National championship. Yeah, like well, what the fuck? Like that's not possible, is it? No way.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Or Tennessee not choking a random road game every year in the SEC.
Yeah.
Inferior.
Yeah, one superstition at a time, Julio. That's we can't crack them all down. Yeah. But I encourage you guys, once that show rolls around, to support that show like you've been supporting this one. Get on there and say what you need to say. And the great thing is during the season, you'll get to rant about your own team's suffering because, as you know, the college football season spares nobody. You are going to experience hell on earth at least almost every single week. Even the weeks that you win. That's how it goes. Yeah. You're going to be suffering every single week.
No team is safe.
Yeah, no team at all. I see a lot of your fans are in here, Red. So
yeah, a lot of the guys. I shot the word out earlier today that I was going to be on the show. I'm glad to see so many of y'all jumping in here. They're also fans of yours, man. So like we all kind of draw from the same well, if you will.
It makes it all the more perfect that we're finally doing a show together. Now, we have not thought of a name yet for our show, but we are open to suggestions. So if anybody's got a great one they think for our show, feel free to drop it in the comment section and we might consider. Who knows? Crazier things have happened, such as Tennessee winning a road game. That's pretty stunning. Speaking of which, let's get into some of the news for today. I'm going to try and get through this as quick as possible so we can get to the cream of the crop of our show tonight. But as per the usual, there is some news that needs to be exposed. And we've got a lot of football news for the week regarding recruits. Yes, Tennessee got more recruits over the week. Give them a big freaking hand for that one. Big hand. Well, I'll start out with this. So our first recruit that we got, this was back July 11th, so on Friday. 4-star offensive tackle J.B. Shabazz, 6'6", 280 pounds. He committed to Tennessee over Ohio State and South Carolina. He's rated as a number 56 overall player and number 6 offensive tackle in the 2026 class. Along with him, we've got several other players joining him. Darrell Rivers, defensive lineman, 4-star. He committed on July 4th. 4th of July individual. Joel Combe committed on July 9th. He's a 3-star defensive back. Braden Rouse. This name might be familiar to a lot of you. He committed on July 8th. He's a 4-star linebacker. Javonte Smith. 3-star athlete. Now, most people expect that he's going to play as a corner for Tennessee, but he also committed on July 8th. So Tennessee got 5 new recruits over this last week. So shout out to the Vols. Shout out to what they did. And that raises our class to number 13 overall and number 5 in the SEC, which is a very big deal. The SEC recruits very, very well. Very, very well. And hold on, we got a soundbite for this.
You might as well be in different leagues, not conferences, different leagues.
Different leagues. All right. Well, the people on the panel couldn't hear the soundbite, which is depressing. But just know it's Lane Kiffin saying some dumb shit.
Right. That's usual. That's like there's a day ending in Y. Lane Kiffin said some dumb shit.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, first of all, Dumb Gamer with the $5 super chat. Much appreciated, good sir. He says, by the way, don't ask Red about John F. Kennedy. All right, well, I won't.
Just don't ask.
Yeah,
he's just being a moron. Ignore him, Squid. He's just just talking shit, talking about out of his ass. There's no story, no lore to the channel there, or nothing. It's cool.
Well, there's definitely some lore that I'm missing, but yeah, you're right. I better not ask questions I'm afraid to hear the answer to. All right. Let's see. So the name is too long here. Kick It to the King Productions with the $2 super chat. Much appreciated. Says, glad I found your channel. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to you being around. Thank you, good sir, for being here and supporting the channel. All right. So, by the way, I feel like this is important. We got to shout out our channel members real fast. Tyler Heller, Jolena Renji, Rainman998899, EVX, Young Man Connor, SEC Football 2, Mantis Toboggan, Daizo, Not JFKH, Ashton Wilcox, Milton Butler, That Guy, Molnar, Sifs, Armchair Sports Rents, Andrew Barber, and Sven Kreuzberg. I'm going to get way faster at naming all those names during the season. Don't you forget it.
I don't know, man. The more people you get adding onto this list of yours, the longer it's going to take you to name them all. You're going to have to get an AI voice to name them all for you real fast in like 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to go on like a 5-minute break, and then as the break is going on, it'll just name all the lists. Or I'll have it like I do it during College Football Chaos, and it just comes up as credits during my break sessions. Something
That's
like
true.
that.
You could do that, yeah.
If it gets too long, it's going to sound like one of those, those medicine ads where they list off all of the side effects.
Talk to your doctor if you experience any of the following side effects.
It's just a bunch of things you've never heard of.
Sore throat, broken leg, heart attack, stroke, paralytic. Just a bunch of shit.
It just lists about everything you can ever think of. Belly button cancer, foreskin cancer. If you have any of these issues, please report them to your doctor immediately. Trust me, if I ever heard,
if you feel like a dildo has been shoved up your ass, call your doctor and ask for it to be removed.
If I ever heard anything like that, I would report that to my nearest doctor immediately.
Or a film store, whichever one's closer.
Yeah, that too. All right, well, here's some Lady Vols news for you. We only have one big headline for this week, but it is big news. Kim Codwell, the coach that single-handedly revived the Tennessee Lady Vols basketball program, has received a 1-year contract extension through March 31st of 2030 with, this is important, a 33% pay increase, increasing her base salary to $1 million annually. It makes her one of the top 25 highest paid women's basketball coaches nationally and the 5th highest in the SEC. So if you think your talent fee money is going nowhere, you'll be glad to know that it's going somewhere. Shout out to the talent fee. Woo!
Well,
That's it?
Well, I mean, at least we're giving one of our best coaches at this athletic program some money.
Yeah, that's true. Vitello's making a hefty amount too. Don't forget that.
Oh, I mean, I know. I mean, he earns his money. He's actually won something here, unlike a lot of people. So
the rest will get there in due time. I'd hope. I'd think. Hope. Really, really hope.
Yeah, no, I hope too.
Yeah, I saw SEC Media Week kicked off today. We'll get a chance to talk about that next week. And then, of course, episode 100. I have not filed out all the plans for episode 100 because, to be honest, the plan I had in mind is crumbling before my very eyes. I plan to do a big panel with a bunch of VFLs on, but most of them have not gotten back to me. And the ones that did said that they were not available due to fall camps or summer camps. So at the end of the day, that's all there is to it. I'm going to figure out something for you guys for episode 100. We're definitely doing the giveaway, though. For the limited time Volstar podcast shirt, we're definitely doing that. So, yeah, do not make me forget that. All right, here we go. Men's basketball news, and there's only 2 big headlines for the week, and it's both regarding recruiting. Now, we haven't picked up any recruits for the basketball team yet, but we have 2 big eyes set on 2 big players. 5-star point guard Duron Ripley Jr., number 17 overall in the class of 2026. He has scheduled his visit to Tennessee for October 25th through 26th. And, he's also going to some other big-time basketball programs, Kentucky, North Carolina. Texas is on here for some reason, but we don't really classify them as a big-time basketball program. But they're on there. But yeah, he's a big-time defender, elite playmaker, and Tennessee would love to have him. Along with him, though, Bo Ogden, 4-star, I think guard. He's actually the son of former Vol assistant Chris Ogden. And he has plans to visit Tennessee in the fall, alongside his visits to Virginia, Kansas, and Texas. So we'll see how it goes. According to his words, he described Rick Barnes as a grandfather figure. So I don't know if that's just him calling him old, like you're an old ass, or if that means like he's a figure that he looks up to. It's really hard to kind of get the grounds on sarcasm, but whatever gets him to commit, that's what I'll agree with. Before we move on, anything regarding recruiting from you, Red, in any sports?
I mean, no, not really. I know Ohio. This is where you and I kind of differ in a little bit of things. I kind of quit following the recruiting trail as religiously as I used to, primarily because the transfer portal has been such a major impact that a lot of these guys Ohio State brings in may not be around a year from now, 2 years from now, and may not make a difference. So I look at the guys that we brought in for recruiting that actually stuck around and start, and then I also look at guys we bring in from the transfer portal. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't really have anything to add to that. That's just because that's how I've operated with my stuff. You know what I mean?
I get it. In this new age of college sports, recruiting, you can only take it. You can only talk about recruiting so much in this new age of college football because it's subject to change in any given moment. That's the problem, is that a lot of these recruits could flip at any given second. They're already talking about that being the case of Tristan Keys, who right now I think is committed to LSU. He's a 5-star. Wide receiver, according to 247 and On 3, or at least just 247. But On 3, of course, gave him the good noodle treatment and took away one of his stars. Usually means that he's recruiting. Usually means that he is going to jump ship from LSU and go to Tennessee. So stay tuned for that.
Exactly that, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly that route.
They do it every single time.
The well-worn roads between LSU and Tennessee. All the recruits leaving LSU to go to Tennessee. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Brian Kelly was caught dancing with him, so I think that would do it. Yeah. To the same song, I hit the gritty too. I said, right foot creep. Oh, in it.
Shut the fuck up.
But the thing is, can you really call that dancing on that one video? It looked more like grinding, like they're at the club or something.
It looked like something I never want to see again. I know that for a fact.
It looked like a call for help.
Yeah. Right. Super Nuclear with the $2 super chat says, Kentucky student tickets up 70%. Buyout or talent fee? Buyout, it is a buyout, but it's as a safety precaution. Doesn't mean that they're going to fire him, but it means in the case that they have to fire him, they can use that money for something. So right now it stands as a talent fee, which, to be honest, it's a no talent fee because Kentucky doesn't have any talent, but it's pretty much just going to be a cop-out for if they need the buyout money. So there you go. Appreciate the $2, though. All right, well, some more baseball news for you guys. Of course, the MLB draft happened over the week, so we've got a lot to talk about there. We set a program record this past year by having 8 players selected within the first 3 rounds. It's the most nationwide, including the first 4-round picks, and we're tied with Arkansas for that honor. The first 4 rounders, the 4 first rounders, Liam Doyle, he went 5th overall to the St. Louis Cardinals. Gavin Keelan, he went to the San Francisco Giants, 13th overall. Andrew Fisher, he went 20th overall to the Milwaukee Brewers. And Marcus Phillips, 33rd overall to the Boston Red Sox. Along with those guys, a couple of other players that went. A.J. Russell, 2nd round to the Texas Rangers. Dean Curley, 2nd round to the Cleveland Guardians. So that's the first one to the Guardians. Tanner Franklin, 2nd round to the Cardinals, so he'll be joining Doyle over there. And then finally, Nate Snead, he went 3rd round overall to the Los Angeles Angels. So 8 players right there. I wish the best in terms of careers for all those guys. They've done a lot. You know, I mean, most of them got a ring, so you got to put that into consideration. There are a lot of teams that wish they could have a ring right now. Big time. but I do wish them the best wherever they go. Julio, you have anything to add to that?
Oh, I was gonna say also congrats to all the commits that also got drafted. Um, I just wanted to congratulate them on that. I think we had 3 in the first round, I think, that were commits, so they're probably not going to come on campus. And they would be dumb too, in my opinion. But congrats to everyone they got drafted. I would list them off, but I can only remember like 4 of them. But I think there was like 7 or 8, I think. But I just wanted to congratulate them and stuff like that too.
Right. Let's see. You heard about LA Tech running to the Sun Belt? I have. First of all, congratulations to Louisiana Tech for making the move. As for the Conference USA, who is losing out on LA Tech, they've got Delaware, Missouri State, so they'll be fine.
Can we just dig in on that for just a quick second? I mean,
yeah.
You look at the Sun Belt Conference and compare it to the Ottoman Empire in the early 1900s. They're the exact same thing. Ottoman Empire was the sick man of Europe. Conference USA is the sick man of college football. They're the same thing. I keep on begging for somebody to please go to Conference USA and just put them out of their misery, because it is embarrassing at this point that they are just nothing but the FCS Bridge League into FBS at this point. I mean, that's literally the only thing they're really good for. No other conference is bringing in schools from FCS to play FBS Division I football at this point, other than Conference USA. There were rumors that the Pac-12 might get desperate and do something with Sacramento State or Mountain West, trying to reach out invitations to the Dakota schools, but like, it's really just Conference USA pulling this crap year in, year out, and I'm freaking tired of it. I want someone to just go to Conference USA and just say, you know what, we're shutting it down. We're merging with the Sun Belt and the MAC and just calling it a day. It's over, boys. Pack it up.
Well, what's funny is that they might, we saw this with James Madison when they transitioned from FCS to FBS. They might be better off than some of the other Group of 5 schools, which is what's so funny about that. If they pick up like some like the Dakota schools or even Sacramento State, chances are one of those teams are going to perform better than most people expect in the FBS, because, FCS, even if their talent composite isn't enough to compete with the the big Power 5 programs, obviously, they're still going to be on a level where they can compete with the G5 schools. So, if you were to ask me right now, who would I take between like UTEP and Sacramento State? I'd take Sacramento State. You know what I mean?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Well, Sacramento State also has donors that actually donate money, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Didn't they have like a $30 million war chest or something like that they promised since they got to?
Yeah, I heard something about them having a massive bank account that they can use to get their asses up to FBS. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that's a good comparison. I mean, because UTEP is probably the biggest bottom feeder of all of the FBS programs, in my view. I mean, literally the only thing notable.
Wait a second. Hold on. I don't have to defend UTEP very often, because most of the time you're right, but not this time. You forget Kent State exists. Come on.
No. Listen.
Kent State exists.
Kent State was actually relevant 4 years ago. When was the last time UTEP was fucking relevant? 2017 when they made a bowl?
Wait a minute. There's Kent State relevant?
Yeah, they made a few bowl games. They won the MAC title, if I remember correctly, or made the MAC championship game a couple of times. And their head coach fucked off to a bigger program, as happens. And eventually they end up with the sack of shit they had last season. I know Kent State's probably a better comparison right now, but they at least have tried to be successful at points. When was the last time you saw UTEP genuinely try to be good?
I do got a question, though. Where would you rather play, Dick's Stadium or the Sun Bowl?
Oh, Dick's, easily. Not even.
Okay.
Why would I go play in Death Valley? Like that's on the border of Mexico. The weather there is awful in the fall.
Yeah,
and the summer.
I'd say
the
the Sun Bowl, but like I too would say the Sun Bowl, but I might ride with you on that one, because you're right. The weather there, I'm sure it's like you're playing in a volcano.
Yeah, give me Dick's Stadium in November any day of the week over the Sun Bowl. It's not that great. It's just old and has a history.
This guy, Red Rubber Duck going. He's one of your guys, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of my guys. Yeah, Red Rubber Duck win.
Red Rubber
also-
Duck going. I cannot believe I pronounced that wrong. But he said
It's okay.
you need to do a video on Akron. Maybe that because Akron aren't they worse than both of them? Kent State and UTEP.
No,
pretty much everybody else?
Akron is slightly better on the field, but they're already eliminated from the postseason because the NCAA slapped them with an academic ban for being too dumb in the classroom. I'm not even kidding.
Yep, that's right.
They're incompetent in other ways.
I gave him that before they even got into the season, so you already know they're cooked.
Yeah,
Well,
they're underway.
I will say this though. Well, if you go by what the College Football 26 says, Akron is the worst team. It's like they're like 61 overall.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yeah,
dang,
and-
they hate Akron for some reason. What did Akron do to you?
I
Yep,
hate it
and
for
you-
him. I hate it for him, but a team that I think is really going to see the struggle bus this year is Marshall.
Oh my God, Marshall got decimated.
No, I
After
don't think
this season.
anybody's gotten
My
it worse. Really, nobody's gotten it worse than Marshall because
Yeah,
they.
Not a fucking
Yeah.
soul.
Well, West Virginia they had a significant amount of players lost in the portal too, but the only difference was they didn't bring in a new coach along with a bunch of brand new transfers. Marshall just brought in whatever freshmen and walk-ons they could muster up, and then that's what they're going to be playing with in 2025. It is going to be a brutal, brutal year for them.
Like, I have never heard of a transfer portal hitting a team so hard they could not compete in their bowl game. They had to be substituted at the last minute for the I think it was the Independence Bowl they were going to play, and I think it was I can't remember who they subbed in. I don't know if it was like Louisiana Tech or somebody else.
I think it was like a 5. It was Louisiana Tech. It was one of those 5-win G5 teams.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that they didn't go out to like the Power 5 and ask them first.
It's not about like, oh, okay, we'll go to Power 5. Like, first off, you look at bowl ties. Like, how many Power 5 teams have a bowl tie to the Independence Bowl? None, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to look at it's GPA at that point when you get down to it. Once
it's based on academics.
Yeah, it's an academic thing, and they happen to be the best academic team after the last person entered into the bowl season. That's how that works.
One thing I do want to say, this was about the Kent State thing earlier, because I actually kind of hope they don't ever win another game again just because Nick Saban graduated from there, and I hate them so much. I hope that stadium burns down.
You know what? That is true. Kent State is the alma mater of fucking Nick Saban.
Yeah, that's all. That's what they have. They might as well build a history museum, and it's just a picture, like a portrait of Nick Saban. And he says he was here. In fact, they need to make a ribbon.
He took a shit in this dorm toilet.
Exactly. They need to make a ribbon for that. You know how they absolutely need to make a ribbon for that. Like one of those banners that they hang up in the stadium that says Nick Saban coached here briefly.
Well, the thing is, there's only like 2 other players that are actually notable that came from Kent State, and that's James Harrison and Jack Lambert. So, like, those are like the 3 things they're known for: is Nick Saban, being a defensive back there, James Harrison playing linebacker there, and Jack Lambert, and then I guess you could say Julian Edelman being the quarterback.
Yeah, Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
And that's about it. That's what everyone knows about Kent State. And then maybe if you're like a real football fan, you might remember Dree Archer before whatever he did.
Well, let me stop you there and just say real sickos know about the game for the wagon wheel between them and Akron. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah,
Best rivalry in college football, the wagon wheel.
Battle for the wagon wheel. Woo!
But
that is a prestigious rivalry game. Yeah. All right. Well, real quick before we continue onwards, I did want to touch on softball for a minute because we are obligated to talk about all the sports, including softball. And there's a little bit of news off of this. There isn't much because, when baseball season immediately comes to a close, the only news you're going to get out of those 2 sports is anything regarding recruiting or drafts or something like that. And pretty much the only news we have for softball, at least recorded, is the additions that they got through the transfer portal, being Mackenzie Butt, Sophia Knight, and Maddie Rutan. They got those 3 players from the transfer portal earlier this offseason, and that'll make their infield and pitching stronger, so all the power to them on that note. Surprisingly, it's funny, we don't really touch on softball all that often. We try and touch on it the best we can, but it's probably the strongest team overall right now out of the Big Five. It's kind of funny to think about. I mean, obviously all of Tennessee's sports are at least at a strong point right now, but softball, they just got out of the Final Four. They were one good pitch away from making the national championship game against Texas Tech, and so they were closer than anybody else was this last season to make the big dance.
Can I just say, real quick, from my time down in Tennessee, it was very obvious, no matter where I went and stopped in Tennessee, just how much the Lady Volunteers are appreciated. You go into Ohio, you never hear about the Lady Buckeyes or the Lady Wildcats in Kentucky or the Lady Cardinals in Louisville, but y'all love your Lady Volunteers down there. I just want to say that surprised me, but it was also very, very cool to see.
Well, it wasn't always like that. I know that for a fact. It wasn't always like that where it was such a spotlight in the university, but the moment Pat Summitt got there and turned the program into a national powerhouse, that's when everything changed, because she did. Pat Summitt literally came in and revived this program and took it to levels far beyond anything else. It reminds me of a much bigger extent of what I think it was Bill Snyder did for Kansas State, who took the program that was sort of down in the dumps, nobody even knew about it, and then turned it into a powerhouse that competes for the championship year in, year out.
Yeah.
Now, Kansas State isn't like that anymore, so that narrative around them has changed. That's why I said this is to a bigger extent, because now Tennessee is a prominent basketball powerhouse when it comes to ladies basketball. So
yeah, I mean, if you were to ask someone about women's basketball, I think they would name 4 teams, and 2 of them are mostly just because of recency, which is Iowa, LSU. But if we were to ask 2 a longtime fan of women's basketball, it would be probably Tennessee, and then it would be UConn, and then you might get Stanford or Baylor.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting because, there are a lot of schools around the country where they have a bunch of sports that suck and never compete for anything, and then 1 or maybe 2 every so few years are often that do really, really, really good in 1 or 2 sports, dominate that specific sport, and so all of the fans kind of pivot to that sport depending on whichever conversation they're talking about.
Actually, I also forgot to say another one. You just gave the perfect example of that. South Carolina.
Yeah. South Carolina with ladies basketball, Kentucky with men's basketball, Arkansas with baseball, Oklahoma with softball for a long time.
Oklahoma with gymnastics too.
Right. Georgia with football. Everybody's got their sport. Everybody's got their big sport that they focus on. But Tennessee, it's weird with Tennessee because they are good, at least good, in all the sports right now. Now, that could be subject to change at any time. I mean, we'll have to see what Joey Aguilar can bring this year. So, again, don't take it for granted, because 5 years ago, the only program that was worth the shit was the basketball program. The baseball program sucked before Vitello got there. Brick by brick, the only thing I can have for that is...
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, what the hell was even that? It's terrible.
Speaking of brick by brick, did you see that Alabama tweeted that out? They tweeted other thing that said brick by brick. And all the Alabama
The
fans
circus never ends, even if you're Alabama. They had Butch Jones there as Nick Saban's car washer. Do they not understand the implications behind saying that? It's foolish.
You can take the elephant out of the circus, but you can't take the circus out of the elephant.
And I saw one of the comments was like, "What's next? You're gonna call us champions of life?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh god."
I mean, you could be like Georgia Tech giving out rings to their players, even though they got slaughtered in their bowl game against Vanderbilt and went like 7-6 or some shit. You
Real
know,
quick,
like if a participation trophy on your finger ever existed, that was about it.
Exactly.
The only time I'll ever accept that is if you're like someone like Eastern Michigan that makes a bowl game once every 20 years, and that's like a big accomplishment.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Georgia Tech. You won a national title. In
Oh
19.
yeah,
Put
no.
the fucking ring back in the box.
Right.
Yeah, no.
I got to answer this comment real quick, or this string of comments.
Sure.
I think it's a troll job.
Yeah.
I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker if it is. This guy said, Tennessee is going to lose 3 to 4 games this year without Nico. If he stayed, we would have had a chance to go 10-2 again. Sir, did you become a Tennessee fan last week? Did you even watch one of our games last year? You should be way more concerned about Dylan Sampson.
I mean, I would. This is a perfect opportunity to really kind of dig into Tennessee for a bit because there's a couple of things about the Volunteers I really want to poke your brain about a little bit here. I'm going to tell him to shut the fuck up right away for one big reason here. Look at the schedule y'all have this season. Yeah, you lost Nico because Nico was being a dipshit. But, like, the schedule you have, let's look at the games. Syracuse, that's a win. To East Tennessee State, that's an easy win. Georgia, probably going to lose that one. Sorry. Maybe a win. It is at home. Yeah. UAB, that's a win. Mississippi State, win. Arkansas, win. Out of Alabama, sorry, you're fucked. Kentucky, that's a win. Oklahoma, you're probably going to win that game. It's at home. New Mexico State, that's a win. At Florida, you're probably going to beat Florida at least once in your lifetime. So sure, whatever. And Vanderbilt, that's a win. So you can win 10 games. It's there. 9 or 10, easily.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I've been called crazy for this, but that Mississippi State game scares me. I know how bad they are. And
Mississippi State.
Yes, it is. You don't realize, Red, this is the problem with us. We have to understand. You'll never make me believe in this team anymore when they're going on the road against an underdog at night, which is probably where that game's going to be. We can't confirm it, but knowing our luck, Mississippi State is somehow going to Mickey Mouse their way to 3 or 4 wins before that game begins. And then it's going to be 8 o'clock kickoff with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, and my life will be ruined again. I know how this story goes.
I just remembered you did lose to Arkansas on the road last year. So.
Yeah, there's only one team I'm confident in us beating on the road this season, and it's these guys.
Pick up your shovel and get back to the
coal
mines, baby.
There is not
Go big orange.
There is not any other team I'm confident in us beating on the road other than Kentucky, because with Kentucky we could be playing on the sun and we'll still beat them. Like we don't lose to Kentucky, but
you know.
Everybody else.
Kentucky has always just kind of been a pushover. They occasionally come out of the ground and surprise you, scare the piss out of Georgia maybe once or twice, but that's about all they're really good for nowadays. And they just shit their pants, and it's back to the usual basketball season. It is.
Yeah, but I heard they were motivated this year.
Oh, they're motivated. Yeah. How many stat points does motivation get you, Squid? I want to know that.
Ask them.
How many stat points is going to take down the big some bitch in front of you when you're on the offensive line trying to keep your quarterback from being killed?
But Red, you don't understand. I've heard from Kentucky fans that motivated Mark Stoops is the best head coach in the nation.
I'm sure they said the same thing about Bear Bryant before they lost to the Texas A&M, and then they lost to Alabama. I'm just saying.
It's a continuous repeating cycle with them. Literally, they don't even recruit anymore. That's the funny thing. They literally don't even recruit anymore. They just try and pick up guys out of the transfer portal. This is like the 3rd or 4th year in a row where they've went ahead and just got some guy out of the transfer portal and then tried to hype him up. We've been through this exact same thing with Will Levis, with Brock Vandegrift, and now they're doing it with Auburn's freaking Zach Calzada. Like, are we being serious? Are we real?
Well, let's
ding.
I mean, you go to Lexington, Kentucky. There's really nothing in there besides horse racing and whiskey, and the fans are already drunk by halftime. And a field named after a supermarket. So
the Kentucky Derby, Derby. Yep, that Derby U. That is who they are now. They're Derby U.
Well, you know another You want to know another reason why they suck at recruiting now? Their best recruiter, Vince Merrill, left them for Louisville.
Oh yeah,
hell no.
that is so. I've completely forgot about that.
They went to the enemy.
I mean that you can't think of a bigger betrayal than that. Straight up stab in the back.
That's that one that where Jay Graham left to coach Alabama. Like fuck that. I don't think I could ever do that.
Right. Well, Red, I wanted to give you a chance because I know you have plenty of things to say about the upcoming season with your Ohio State Buckeyes. First of all, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it before. You've had about 8 months now to hear it, about 7, maybe 6. Obviously, congratulations on wielding your national title throughout this off season. You don't have much time left to wield it. That's all I can say. But you have been able to wield it for the past 6 months.
You're goddamn right. And this victory cigar does not get old a fucking bit. Woo, yeah. I'm not going to smoke because I'm indoors.
Yeah, we'll hear about that when Arch Manning comes to town. I know that for a fact.
Okay, look. Let's call a spade here. Ohio State, after Michigan, I did not think we were going to get far in the playoffs. I knew we were going to beat Tennessee. Sorry. About that. Nico was a fraud.
We were all cooked the moment the game was announced to be at night in prime time.
Yeah, they hadn't had a game at Ohio Stadium at night all season against a team worth of shit. So you were fucked from the start because Fox decided to fuck over our time the whole time. I didn't think that we were going to win the national title. And then we beat the shit out of Oregon like we did. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, and then at that point, we were all like, oh, who's stopping that? Like,
yeah,
from that point onward, it was like, who the hell is stopping this Ohio State team? They are just on a completely different level.
Get the fuck out the way. It's Ohio State. Look, the Buckeyes lost an absolute shitload of talent after that national title run. The only guy that's back that was like an absolute world beater on our offense is Jeremiah Smith, the best wide receiver in the nation, Heisman candidate, the whole nine, on the cover of VA College Football 26. He is the best thing we have going. Literally everything else is getting replaced except for one of our other wide receivers, Carnell Tate, and 3 of our linemen. Everybody else is gone. We got a new quarterback. It's supposedly going to be Julian Sayin. I'm not surprised by that. Like Akeen Holtz, the sophomore quarterback, he's not shown anything, I guess, in camp. James Peoples will be running the rock for the running back in front of CJ Donaldson, the senior. Going to have kind of a running back by committee until someone stands out again. Defense, only 3 starters return total. Granted, Caleb Downs is our, one of the starters, and he's a damn good one. Sonny Styles and David Igbenogsen's going to be back too, and literally everybody else is brand spanking new. Whole lot of veterans on the defense, a lot of juniors and seniors on there mainly. And then we talked about it a little bit earlier, but we open up against Texas, big noon kickoff. Fuck you, Fox, for not giving us a night game.
I know, that's so dumb. So dumb. Biggest game of the year between the top team in the nation and it could potentially be a 1 versus 2 matchup because we don't have the preseason poll yet. And it's going to be at noon.
You're right, but I don't know if they're going to rank Ohio State number 2 in the nation. I don't know if they're going to do that because of everything I just mentioned with the personnel shifts and all the changes. I think that as it is, we got a chance to repeat, but there's so many question marks that it honestly would not surprise me if we stumble on the way. It would not surprise me if we did lose to Texas out the gate and then win out and make the playoffs regardless, because the Big Ten is a little bit more open this year. It's a lot that you got teams that are rebuilding like Oregon. Michigan still isn't fully back yet. Penn State is the best of the bunch, but they're still not fully there. Nebraska is kind of like false hope. What the fuck? There was one other team.
Yeah, I have
thinking of
hold on.
earlier.
Let me pull up the schedule here on the screen for you.
Yeah. Shit. What the fuck? I
Illinois.
mean, Oregon's still going to be a threat, but they're not going to be like a major one like they were last year. They got some rebuilding to do. So it's really just those four running the gamut here. And then you look at our schedule. We start off with Texas at home. That's a big one. That's going to be tough. That's going to set the tone for the rest of the season. We'll beat downs against Grambling and their cousins in Athens. Game against the Huskies in Seattle. That's going to be a little difficult, I think, just because of the travel. Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin. Those are all going to be wins. Penn State at home. At least we get them at home. That's going to be the other big game of the season.
I did want to pause you for a second. I don't think that Illinois game is as much of a gimme as you think it is. They're returning a lot of key pieces, especially on the defense. They could be a problem. I'm not going to sit here and hype them up as like a top contender or anything, but they are a sneaky good team this year, and they've got the personnel to potentially make the playoffs if things line up for them.
Well, they also have an easy schedule too, but you know how that goes.
Right.
You're right. I did overlook Illinois. Granted, I still haven't fully dug into like the Big Ten preview for my channel yet, so I'm not as up to speed with the rest of the conference. I know the major ones. But you are right. Illinois does have the pieces to put together a run, especially on offense. I'm looking at it now. A lot of returning starters in their weapons. Just 3 brand new wide receivers, 1 returning one that's a backup. Bunch of guys that are, back. Luke Altmaier is back for one more ride. I mean, yeah, they could be tough. It ain't going to be easy, and we're going to be playing in Champaign. So, I mean, it's going to be for the Yellow Buck for the first time in 7 years, which is the one trophy game we fucking have.
Well, you also got to keep.
That's going to be an important game.
Usually with Ohio State, don't y'all usually have like one road game where y'all shit the bed every couple years?
Yeah, that's going to make all the Purdue spoiler makers pop their heads up and be like, hey, do you remember when we were good?
The old soiler makers. No, they don't remember when they were good.
No, they got so many headshots the last few years they can't remember. Yeah, I mean, speaking of, we do got a road game against Purdue. I'm just kidding.
Ooh, that is an interesting question. Electro85 asks, any thoughts on Lee Corso's last ride, which will be the Texas-Ohio State game? Do you think Lee Corso will side with y'all, or do you think he's going to take Texas for the last ride?
I think just to spite us, he's going to take Texas because Arch Manning is going to be the big – he's going to go after the big glitzy pick in Arch Manning, and, I think that's what he'll end up selecting. By the way, hell of a career Lee Corso has had. I kind of was hoping that Pat McAfee would take over the headgear gimmick when Lee Corso left, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But fair enough, because I don't think there's anybody else on that crew that could match the energy that Lee Corso used to have. But he should have retired 4 years ago, if you ask me, dude. He's way over the hill.
Right. Well, he'll always be remembered as a timeless icon for sure. And they announced that they're going to be like retiring all the helmets. So really, that kind of makes sense if you consider it that way.
Yeah, game day will never be the same.
That is definitely true.
Like I said, I think he should have retired a couple years ago. But the thing is, I think he's one of those people that, one, genuinely loves his job, and then two, I think he's also, especially I understand this with like old people, a lot of old people don't slow down because they're afraid if they ever do slow down or something like that, then that could be like their last thing they do before they pass away. So I just think
that's morbid. Let's move on.
Yeah, but that's still
that got dark.
Julio.
What the fuck was that shit, Julio? All right.
What the hell is even that?
All right. Well, I mean, getting back to Ohio State, I think, honest to God, we got a really good chance to repeat. Deep playoff run. I can see it. But I don't know what is going to trip us up. Something's going to trip us up. We don't have the same talent that we had last year. We are considered probably a little bit worse because of that. And that also makes me think a loss is in store. At least one, maybe two.
Michigan.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Your final game on the road at Ann Arbor. 4 years.
No.
4 long years since your last win. No, it's actually been 5. No, 6. because the last one was all the way back in 2019. The last time you beat Michigan was 2019. It has been forever. Is this the year?
Listen, viewers of my channel know exactly how I react when the losses against Michigan come up. So I'm trying really, really hard right now to keep an even keel when I say this. But fuck Michigan! We're beating their asses! It's been too damn long!
You kind of sound like I did whenever Alabama came up every year before 2022.
Yes, yeah.
Oh
yeah. You think you've suffered? Just wait. If Michigan beats you for 15 straight years, and then you can sing that high horse all night long.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely, I'm trying not to cope and see. I genuinely think that I think they're going to beat Michigan this year. Genuinely, I do. Michigan they're coming back up, but I think now that we have the Natty under our belt, for whatever reason, Ohio State's always had this kind of obsession with beating Michigan. And part of it's because we're behind all time in the rivalry. And it's also because in the 90s, as some of you guys watched in my video on YouTube, that we only beat Michigan twice in 13 years, despite having really, really good teams all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just hope that this isn't another reincarnation of like the Cooper years, and we can actually beat Michigan next season. Ryan Day did it once in 2019. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see.
Well, I'll say this much. Shoot, I kind of forgot what I was talking about. but yeah, I feel like now would be a good time for it to happen. I mean, Michigan is coming off one of their rougher stretches. The Sharon Moore era has started off on a little rough trail. 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
Now they did beat Bama to finish out the year. I think they're gonna be coming back with a lot of nice pieces on defense. Michigan's always gonna have a pretty good defense. But it looked like to me last year when Ohio State and Michigan played, it looked less to me like Ohio State was trying to win and more like they were trying to prove a point, because they stopped passing the ball in its entirety and were just so enamored and focused on trying to run the ball down Michigan's throat. And it never worked. But they were trying to prove, it looked like they were trying to prove that point so much, since they just almost completely gave up on the pass. And by the time they finally started trying to do something with it, it was already too late. Because the way I would do that, if I were in that position, if I were Ohio State, I'd just say, screw it. Jeremiah Smith down there somewhere, because this dude has already shown that he's superhuman. He can catch things with his pinky freaking finger. At that point, you throw something right up to him and hope for the best. That's what I would do if I were in that position.
I'm trying to give Ryan Day something I haven't given him since he hasn't beaten Michigan in a long time. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially now that we won the Natty.
Let me ask you this, actually. Would you take a season where you finished 10-2, lost to Texas at the start of the year, but you beat Michigan, and your second loss came to Penn State? Would you take that? A 10-2 season with that record, those wins, those losses?
Are we still beating Michigan?
Yeah. I said you're winning.
Yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat.
But you lose to Penn State and Texas. Okay. Well, yeah, 10-2, obviously good enough to make the playoffs. But with that Penn State loss, it could knock you out of contention for the Big Ten title again. But
yeah, and Penn State's really the one team everybody's looking at as like the giant killers. They might finally get over the hump this year and actually make a statement and win the Big Ten championship and beat the Ohio States and Michigans. I'm not buying it until I see it, because they've been so fraudulent for so long. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they had to rebuild and start from scratch after the whole nonsense 10 years ago. It takes a long time to come back from something like that, but if ever. But, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm genuinely just, we'll see what happens. I'm going to just try my best to be as even keel. Give Ryan Day a little bit of grace. He does have the gravy from winning the national title under him right now. So no matter what happens, some people are thinking, oh, well, we'll just fire Ryan Day if we lose to Michigan again. Why the hell would we do that? You guys are fucking delusional. Seriously.
What's funny is that they act like your fan base sort of acts like they have too much talent to lose those type of games.
Yeah.
Like, you forget what's been happening to Florida State. You do have the talent to lose those games. Everybody around you can very well beat you if the coaching is bad enough.
Yep. Florida State's a prime example of what happens when you go to the transfer portal for literally everything, and it doesn't work.
You go for everything and come out with nothing. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, when you go to the casino with $200, you come out losing your house.
That is exactly right. You know, I'm interested to see what they've got. Maybe they'll strike gold in the rainbow again, like they tried to do in 23. If they do it again, and they go like somewhere like 8-4, by that point, everybody would be back on the Mike Norvell train. But I really think he just found gold in the transfer portal that he's probably not going to find again. And sooner or later, I think it's really going to come back to haunt him in his coaching career.
It already is. I mean, you look at Florida State right now, he had to clean house just to save his own skin. I mean, the downfall of the Florida State Seminoles from the end of 23 to the end of 24 needs to be studied by fucking scientists. It's incredible to watch a team go from one of the top college football offenses in the nation under Jordan Travis to his leg literally disintegrating against Northern Alabama of all teams, and then the team falling apart, getting dismantled by Georgia in the Orange Bowl, still being given the benefit of the doubt because of the transfers from DJ Uiga, whatever the fuck, and then just absolutely imploding on their own selves. It was incredible to see in real time, and I genuinely don't know how long the ramifications are from this are going to be. Because Florida State, after they won the BCS National Championship in 2013, and then they got bounced by Oregon in that embarrassing Rose Bowl performance they had, they really haven't been relevant. They were considered a flyover school at one point too. I think, what the fuck was it? Willie Taggart or some shit went there for a year, a cup of coffee, and then bounced off to somewhere else, or was that Oregon? I don't know. It kind of interchanges with me at this point. But the thing is, the Seminoles are the exact case of like too much of a good thing with the transfer portal and not knowing what the fuck to do with the pieces you have in front of you.
Well, the transfer portal has always been used by most coaches as one thing and one thing only, to patch the holes that they do have on their roster and fix them to make sure that there aren't any holes that could be exploited during the season. Florida State and Colorado are two teams that have gone well beyond that and are just getting everybody they can get. It's going to end up screwing both of them over is what it's going to happen. Because eventually, I mean, Dion could wound up leaving this year for wherever Shador's at. That's what I think. I'm surprised he hasn't already left for wherever Shador's at. That's the biggest shocker of the offseason, I think. But for both of these teams,
because no NFL team will take him seriously.
Right.
Honestly.
Probably. Well, both of these teams are going to be suffering from a similar problem when those two coaches leave, because it's going to happen. Both of those coaches aren't going to stay there forever. In fact, they could be gone sooner than we think. The problem is not what's going to happen when they get fired. The problem is going to be what happens after they get fired and the new coach has to come in and fix the mess, because, all those players that they got from the portal, they're rentals. They're mercenaries. The moment you stop paying them their money, you know where they're going to go? Deuces, I'm out. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So they could suffer a Marshall or West Virginia level exodus through the portal. And then the moment they do that, it's going to be up to whichever coach they get in there to patch up whatever they have and sort of do something with it.
Right.
So they could be in for, I don't think they're going to do terrible for now. But the moment they get tired of those coaches, or if they do, because they might be in a position where they're stuck keeping those coaches because they're afraid of the results that are going to happen if they do go through with firing them. So I'm
right.
It's
I'm still here.
Really,
I got to check something real quick.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that. But yeah, no, it's a serious problem with Florida State and Colorado right now. Well,
that's the
not right
thing.
now,
Like,
but it will be. Eventually, it will be.
so that's the thing. So, like, for example, if Colorado say they have a bad season, but still they get all these games and stuff because Dion's a coach and stuff like that. Um, like, and who do they hire after Dion?
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's a question no one really knows right now. My whole opinion on the circus in Colorado is simply this: it's transfer you. In 2023, when Dion came on the scene with Colorado, we kind of saw it was boomer bust. Like, yeah, early in the season when nobody had film on them and they didn't know how to stop it, they were great. And then all it took to figure out was, hey, they have a shit offensive line. Let's make him run for his life. And Shador had to, and then they couldn't do anything the rest of the way. Last year, they improved some. They had a somewhat better offensive line, and their defense actually gelled together and became a little bit of a force. But it wasn't enough to get them into the Big 12 championship. It wasn't enough to really sift the playoffs, and it damn sure wasn't good enough for Shador to get his number retired either. But that's just nepotism at that point.
Exactly.
I think that this season is really going to be the real test for Dion as to whether or not he has staying power at Colorado. He's done a lot for the program, a lot of good things. Like, genuinely, that program is a lot better now than what it was before he got there. Before he got there, they were 0-12 or 1-11, losing to FCS teams. Like, it was just drizzling shits. Now they're a serviceable upper tier Big 12 squad that will be able to compete for the championship this season. I don't know if they're going to win it, but they're going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah. Then again, every team in the Big 12 is going to be kind of a pain in the ass unless you're Cincinnati or Oklahoma State.
Right.
Another thing I will say, I feel like Dion could actually be like probably could get them to an upper Big 12 team if he applied more on the recruiting trail and just actually recruited like a normal coach.
But again, like, how much does recruiting matter in today's college football when you could just get a 1-year rental, 2-year rental from somebody who's not getting the playing time that they honestly deserve and spend all that time on the road when you could be negotiating NIL deals with these players that are ready to play really good now, and you're trying to play really good right fucking now. It's a hard thing to balance.
Well, yeah, I was saying I think they need more of a balance. Like, for example, I feel like one of the things where recruiting matters probably, I would say probably almost even more now, is just the offensive line and, like, defensive line. I feel like that's, like, where it matters probably the most, like, whenever it comes to recruiting now.
Exactly.
Especially because it takes a long while for an offensive lineman to develop usually. Most offensive linemen, even the, like 5-star ones, usually take a year to, get better.
Yeah. I mean, fun fact for those of you that don't know, I did play college football myself, not at the FBS level. I played Division III for the Wilmington Quakers of the Ohio Athletic Conference. And there is a point to be made there. It does take a lot of time for an offensive lineman to really gel and work into a system. But it's not as quick as you would think. If an offensive lineman comes in and he's got the talent and he's got the skill and most importantly the footwork to be able to move and maintain the pocket and have the presence of mind of what's going on around him, he should be able to have his feet under him within the first 3 to 4 weeks tops. If it's a run-of-the-mill kind of guy, it might take half a season. Or like if he came in through spring camp, he might be able to take that time to get really going. It's not so much about the individual, it's about the group. As an offensive line, you got to be able to gel with everybody on that line. You need to know what your assignment is, what the assignment of the guy to your right or to your left is if you're the center. And he's the one that captains the whole thing. And you got to have that chemistry and you got to have that trust, and that trust does take time. So it's complicated. Every offensive line is built differently, and it takes a different amount of time for it to work together. And the ones that can gel together quickly are going to have the most success. I just don't think that Colorado is going to be able to maintain that this season because they got an all-new O-line again, bunch of different guys are coming in from God knows where, and it's going to be a struggle for them out of the gate to really get it together. I mean, they got a test against Georgia Tech to start the season off, but Georgia Tech is not an easy team to beat.
That is kind of hilarious considering, the 1990 national title was split between them. That is kind of funny.
Yeah, I know, right? They keep on talking about it because that's the only thing that's relevant to that game other than the circus Dion is bringing to town.
Yeah, no.
All right, well, real quick, let me answer some of the comments here. Let's see. Mario Sonic Films. Hey, Squidtard and Red. So glad to watch this podcast right now as I just got news from relatives that my grandma, who lives in Seattle, hasn't got much time left. Well, I'm extremely sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully things are going well with that situation. Prayers to your family. I hope everything pans out well with that. Sorry to hear that, brother.
Good vibes your way, man.
That's right. Let's see. Trivia time. Who was the last team to go the entire regular season without allowing a single point scored on them? 1939 Tennessee, undefeated and unscored upon. Or I think it was I think it was 1931 Tennessee went undefeated and unscored upon. But yeah, 39 Tennessee, they also got unscored upon.
Could you imagine that happening today? Like whoever does that modern day of college football would be hailed as the greatest football team to ever play.
You have a hard time doing that in the video games, much less in real life.
Right?
Mm-hmm. What's crazy about that? A lot of people don't realize how many shutouts Tennessee had, like under Neyland. But out of his 173 wins, 112 of those were shutouts.
Oh yeah, no, they were so dominant in that era. But it was such a different era of college sports. That's the thing.
I thought I'd just throw that stat out because whenever I heard that stat, I was like, dang, that's crazy. So what? That's probably almost like a 60-some% shutout rate.
Super nuclear, if you know. Well, first of all, my dad has one more treatment tomorrow, and he is done with chemotherapy with his throat cancer. Well, that's good to hear. Hopefully that goes well. Hopefully he's able to be cured from cancer. We're all going to be rooting for him. I will say this, Super Nuclear. If you know this for trivia, don't answer it. But see, there was a program that got the SMU treatment in basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Who is it?
I know it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm.
Julio, I'm guessing
I'm kind of like a
too.
bottomless pit of college history over here, except I don't use it for good. I use it for evil.
That's a good way of using it. Julio, you know it?
Give me. I think it's Louisiana, wasn't it?
No.
Was it Louis? I know Louisiana had a real bad one.
No.
Louisiana. That's where it was.
It was not.
I have to think of more.
Well, it was a strong program. Take that into consideration. You know it, Red? Go ahead and tell him.
If I recall correctly, there were actually two major Division I basketball programs that got the SMU treatment. Kentucky was the first because they were the first team after the NCAA investigative committee was formed because a bunch of players got caught shaving points.
That's right.
And they were banned, and they had their program canceled for an entire year and then sat out of the NCAA tournament the following season after being ranked number 1 in the nation because of a protest for a different rule. The other school that I that you didn't think of, he was close. It was Louisiana, but it was not like LSU. It was the Raging Cajuns.
That's what Louisiana is.
Louisiana, but back then they weren't known as that. They were known as USL, University of Southwestern Louisiana, I believe. They got busted for severe academic ineligibility, and they actually got the ban for 2 seasons.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Brutal.
SMU's second year of missing football was self-imposed because they just didn't have the ability to because it was so devastating. They needed the extra year to get their shit together.
Mm-hmm.
USL lost it for 2 years. And before then, they were actually a really, really good program. They had just come up from college division to the university division, and they were starting to play really good. They made a couple of NCAA tournaments, made a few decent runs, won a few games. Since then, they've been 1 NCAA appearance. Completely destroyed the program.
Right. Well, what I do know for a fact is that that's never going to happen again. We're not going to see these teams get death penalties unless they're self-imposed due to just academics or something else. The closest example you can think of to that is what happened to UAB during, I think it was 2015 and 2016. They didn't have the academics to be able to compete anymore. So the academics, they had shut down the football program. Yeah. There's a video about it and everything.
I heard it was financial.
Could have been. It could have been.
I thought it was financial.
Oh, it was financial? Okay, then my bad. I might be a little
UAB is
stupid.
actually pretty okay academically. It's like, I mean, it's not a high bar, but I think it's like the best state, the best university in Alabama.
Yeah. Say it with me, kids. Money talks, bullshit walks. UAB wanted to cut football because it was too expensive.
There you go. And after the whole Penn State thing, I just knew with Penn State and Sandusky, if they weren't going to give them the death penalty for that, they weren't going to give them the death penalty ever again.
They're too afraid now that SMU was too much. That's what they realized, that it was just too damn harsh.
Well, they're too afraid to do anything now. Tennessee shoved into a locker in court because they lied about them. So
they've been getting shoved into a locker in court by everybody. It's like you got a long ass line of people that wants to take a turn shoving their asses into into a locker. It's ridiculous. I don't know why they still even try to fight these court cases.
And the way they fought back was so stupid because, a lot of people blame Tennessee for the NCAA having as little power as it does now. But the way they went about trying to, destroy NIL or regulate it is the stupidest thing I can think of, which is cherry pick a specific team that they look for to see that's supposedly violating the rules, and then try and get down on them and make them an example. It just so happens that the team they chose just so happened to be Tennessee, which the allegation that they're talking about, they were talking about Nico flying on a plane that was paid for by Spire Sports Group, which is an NIL organization. See, the issue with that is that the rule against that, you can't do anything like that. It was a rule established well after the event occurred. And then the NCAA tried to go back and be like, whoa. Remember this thing that you did when it was totally legal? Well, guess what? Now it's not legal, and we're going to punish you for it, even though it happened before we established the rule. So, of course, Tennessee took them to court. They settled, and now the NCAA is basically a powerless shitlord of an organization.
They are a geriatric organization that the time bomb is slowly ticking to zero before it falls apart. I genuinely do not think that they're going to survive another 15 years hosting power football like we see right now. At some point, something's got to give. Either the conferences just cede all of the authority to the new college sports commission that's running NIL, or they form a different lead outright in association with the college sports commission. I'm not sure how that's going to go. We're going to kind of let that play out. But, the NCAA has been toothless for a while. That's just another example, the supreme example of them being toothless bastards.
Oh, yeah. And the Duke, Rookie 17 mentioned the Duke lacrosse story back in 2006. That's a really interesting one, too. Because, it turns out all those allegations against those players, turned out that they were all fake. And
that's a sensitive subject, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a very wishy-washy, touchy subject, so I won't go into it deeper than that.
A lot of hearsay there. I don't think they got the full death penalty. I think it was self-imposed.
Yeah.
On their own selves. It wasn't imposed by the NCAA. That's the difference. Anyway, let's get away from that.
Yeah. Well, we're about out of time here anyway. We're 20 minutes past.
Yeah, we're actually overtime, it looks like.
yeah, I know. This is a short show. Yeah, we'll have to figure out whether or not we want to go 1 or 2 hours, or maybe 1.5 hours on our show, Red.
Or maybe we'll figure that out for sure. Just bill it to my attorney.
Yeah, you got it. You straight to Squidtard Productions over here. Yeah. Plenty of stuff going on around here, you guys. If you guys haven't checked it out already, we've got a I don't know why it says in the description, thank you to C-Dog for joining the show. C-Dog joined last week, so that's obviously why he's on there. I'm going to fix that description real fast because your channel should be in the description, even though I imagine a whopping majority, if not everybody here, has already been subscribed to you.
If you're not, you're missing out. We just dropped a new video on the channel on Thursday. where I took down my own team, Ohio State, during the 1990s when John Cooper was the head coach. And you get to witness me just be in absolute agony and pain, talking about the history of the team during that point. My content is pretty similar to Squidtard's, if you don't know. We both draw from the same well. We love college football. We talk about it. I like to go deep into the history of certain teams and eras and stories and tell them my own way, as only a cynical fucking bastard could. Raw, unfiltered, uncensored, not giving a shit who I piss off. No team is safe. I don't give a fuck if it's Kent State or Ohio State. You're all going to get it at some point. I made a whole damn 6-hour documentary on the national championship from the 90s to the 4-team college football playoff. One of my videos was like 2.5 hours long. I got a whole playlist for that. I got a bunch of different essays. Got one on Oregon. I got one on I was going to do one on Texas, but you fucking beat me to it. I'll probably do one eventually on Texas, though.
Yeah, do it anyway.
I did one on Wisconsin as well. So, and Notre Dame. I got Notre Dame really good after during the Lou Holtz era, after the national championship and into the new millennium. So come join the Red Army, subscribe to the channel. We're growing. We're almost to 5,000. We just broke through the 4,000 barrier this past weekend. No thanks to the Buckeye video, which is at 15,000 views. One of the best performing videos I've ever made. But we're approaching 5,000 subscribers. And, I think this alliance that me and Squid have formed here, it's only going to continue to go up from there and kind of be a nice little yin to our yang, a little Yankee North to our Dixie Southern friend in Tennessee. Really, really looking forward to what we got coming up here over the next weeks and months, Squid. This is a great thing. Really happy to be here.
Really happy you're here too. And Julio, don't worry, we didn't forget about you, buddy. Tell us what you got going on this week. Riveting. Well, think we lost Julio, everybody. He's here in spirit, so we'll be seeing him again next week if he's not able to talk. As always, we only got 2 more episodes left of this show, though, so I don't really know what we got planned for next week. Obviously, we're gonna run things as usual, talk about the news. There goes Julio. We're gonna talk about the news per the usual. I don't know what else we'll do in that department, but I'll run it the best way that I can. That's all I can really say for you guys. I appreciate all the support you've given to this show. It means a lot. It's been a hell of a journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the ending pans out. I'm probably going to have to make some adjustments to it. I'll talk with Lucas and Julio pending whatever we do. So until then, love you guys. We'll see y'all next week. And as always, of course, power to Tardaria. And of course, go Vols. I got 42-17.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, 42-17.